Hello and welcome. This is Jessica Loper here for my first energy update for creatives. I'm going to be putting this out weekly on either Sunday or Monday at the latest, so it'll be for the week ahead. I know you can find all sorts of energy updates all over the internet, right? So if you're here, I'm just setting the intention for whatever messages come through that it is specific for the people who are listening here, that it is for those of you who are wanting to create something that causes impact. So whether it's a form of giving back or business or whatever it is, you want to give back in some way and help other people in some way. And for some of you, this could even be something you're just creating in your daily life that affects the people that you're around. Maybe it's your kids or family. What kind of life are you creating? So it could even be that too, because that's important. Shaping the lives of little ones is a super important thing too. I kind of feel like I'm doing all of those in a sense, but you may resonate with some or all of those. So for this week, we are, at the time I'm recording this, it's Sunday, March 9th, so the week ahead. The big thing this week is going to be our blood moon eclipse on March 14th. So, just on eclipses in general, as a reminder, that's going to be a time where we can experience timeline shifts. It doesn't mean it's going to be something on that exact day. We tap into this eclipse energy before and after as well. And it can also be something internal. It can be an internal shift. It doesn't necessarily mean something tangible is changing. It absolutely could, but don't disregard those internal shifts, or even it could be something on the mental plane, just a perspective, deep healing, whether it's emotional healing or something more mental, like clarity, or just, seeing things in a totally new light. So it's also going to be a time where the veil is thin. We're aligning with our destiny. So it's a good time to connect. It's a good time to pay attention to your spiritual practice or daily ritual, whatever it is you want to call it. I would definitely suggest paying attention to that this week. Even reevaluate it if needed, or if it's something you haven't really been doing and you're feeling drawn to getting back to some kind of daily practice. This would be a good week to get back into that habit, just because that's what helps you connect. It helps you to connect to your soul path. For some of you, it may be helpful to contemplate why you're here. Maybe that's a good question for you this week. Why am I here? If that's something that's calling you, something you've been thinking about or feeling about, you could go back and watch that episode, Why Am I Here? Which is going to connect to your soul path. So it's a good week to just reflect and think on those things. This specific eclipse is very connected to the divine feminine, your inner power. Sovereignty is just a big theme right now, especially with everything going on in the world on a global scale, whether it's just views and difference of opinions, the way people are treating each other. A lot of it is bringing us back to more sovereignty. Unfortunately, we kind of have to go through some disruptive energies and things that have been coming to surface around it. So that is just part of the process. Things have to break away to rebuild, So I think there's some really good changes in the world right now. That's probably a whole different topic for another time, but I just wanted to mention that sovereignty is a big one. So feel into that. We have this full blood moon lunar eclipse coming March 14th. So I was kind of just going off on eclipses in general, and then trying to kind of move back towards this specific eclipse. But we also have Venus in retrograde right now and Mercury in retrograde. So I'm not going to get into those too much detail. You can go research that or whatever is needed. And sorry, I'm trying to record and people are texting me. I meant to turn my do not disturb off. Oh goodness. Thank goodness for editing. Okay. Where was I? So this eclipse specifically, there's a lot around feminine energy and inner power, death, rebirth, and that something needs to change. Okay, and that's kind of the big one that's coming through. If you're listening here, that is what is standing out to me, is that there's something that needs to change. So really feel into that. For some of you, it may just be the way you're looking at something, the habit, like almost like being stuck in a pattern, and just the only thing you need to change is that perspective of it, like literally just thinking and acknowledging that this is a pattern you've really worked through and you need to change, but you need to change your addiction to being stuck in that pattern. That's what it is. Hopefully I'm wording that okay. Okay, I'm going to say that again. So you need to change your thoughts around this pattern that you're releasing and moving through, and the addiction you've had to that pattern. So hopefully that makes sense. So if that resonates for you, that's another thing just to take some time and acknowledge. It could be more than one thing. Like for me, and that may be what you need to release too. For me, I've had this pattern of lack, getting stuck in patterns of lack that I've always had, even since I was a kid, that I've done a lot of releasing and shifting on this past year, and actually experienced a lot of change. But I've noticed I've caught myself even like this fear of going back into that pattern. And it's almost like I'm not in that pattern, but I've kind of had some things come up that bring up that fear of going back into the pattern. And it's like, no, we're releasing this, but we also have to release this fear of going back into the pattern. And even just the mindset or process around that when those feelings or thoughts of lack come back up, or if there's something that makes me think of it again, that I can also look at it in a way that makes me say I'm choosing differently now than I did before. And it's okay that I experienced what I did, because it gave me the knowledge that I have now, and we're not repeating that. So that's kind of one for me, just as an example. Some of you can maybe relate to that, or maybe it's something totally different, which is fine. I did pull some cards, so we have a few cards. I have a card from the Good Tarot by Colette Baron Reed, and she actually commented on one of my TikToks a few years ago. It was a total fangirl moment. But I always think about that now anytime I pull a card from that deck, because I was just like super excited about that. That was a long time ago. We have the Good Tarot. I have a card from Keepers of the Light by Kyle Gray, and a card from the Healing Mantra deck by Matt Kahn. So, okay, these are the cards for the week. Nine of Air is all around shifting your negative self-talk, moving from fear to possibility. If we notice a pattern coming back, sometimes we kind of have fear of the pattern coming back, but it doesn't mean that we're going back into the pattern. So that's totally just something to catch yourself in and shift that mindset. So this card also is just reminding you to be open to possibilities. Okay, what is possible? All right, so from Keepers of the Light, we have Mother Mary. So if you're feeling called to connect with Mother Mary, this card represents love and peace. Also letting go of the need to be right, choosing peace. Also, what's coming to me with this is letting go of the way things need to be. And this is another thing that can be really helpful during eclipse season, just because the energy can be intense and there can be timeline shifts. If you notice any fear coming up around that, I would just suggest that you set the intention that you want the greater good. I want what is ever for my greatest good. And that's a really good way to come back to peace and trust and letting go of control. Because with eclipse season too, oftentimes it can relate to destiny. Like there's things that are just meant to happen that are going to happen that are out of your control. And you just have to trust them, right? So we get a mix of destiny and choices in our life, I feel like. At least that's the way I look at it. Okay, so the last card is anchoring the light, reminding you the light is always within you. I love this because we also did talk about inner power. So I think this goes along with that, that everything you need is inside of you. The light is within you, and just reminding you to call on that and realize that you can connect to that light anytime. Okay, that's all I have. So hopefully this was helpful. We'll be back next week. So I don't know that this will be the same every week. There may be some weeks where I do more like a little meditation for the week or something. So it's just whatever I feel led to. And if there's astrological things going on, make note of them. There is a lot more that you can dive into, but this will be just more like a brief overview and then whatever I feel led to share. So thank you if you found this helpful and you know someone that would like it and also find it helpful. I would appreciate the shares. All right, take care.